Good morning and welcome back to the West Ham Network. I'm Anton and I'm bringing to you a very early rendition of David Moyes' press conference. Very early, as in he was out nice and early from his bed and gave you the FA Cup press conference. Normally we bring this show to you around 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the day of the presser, but it is early doors today, and of course that maybe emulates the fact that we're playing the game early doors tomorrow, 12:30 kickoff in the FA Cup against Kidderminster Harriers. And I'm buzzing about it. I'm buzzing about being back. I'm buzzing about West Ham being back. You know, it's going to be a nice, distraction from the January transfer window, the winter transfer window. So it is nice to now focus back on the team and let's get back into the rhythm. 15 more Premier League games to go. Fingers crossed we have plenty more FA Cup games to go, and fingers crossed we have plenty more of the Europa League games to go on top of that as well. Now, if you are new around here, please make sure you go and subscribe to the channel. That would really help us out. We're on the road to 11,000. We're nearly there, but I'm going to say it's the road to 20,000 subscribers. Then when you hit the subscribe button right beside it, there's a little bell notification. If you click that, that will notify you when our shows go live on the channel. So please do that as well. On top of that, go and check out this prize from Football Prizes. Tickets cost £8.95 to enter for that fantastic dual prize, signed and framed Antonio and Declan Rice top from this season. Comes in a dual frame together. It looks like a naughty bit of a prize, so make sure you get involved. I'm going to get the link for you and I'm going to put it in the chat, so if you are interested in purchasing a ticket, you will have to do that. It's £8.95 and the competition ends this evening. There are 49 tickets already sold from a potential of 99. So get yourself involved and I will drop that in the chat as we speak just now. Now, I'm going to jump into the chat, see who's kicking about, and I'll get started on the presser as well. Cyber Leader, Dalek, hope you're well, mate. Hey, Gus, Russ, you mean? Sorry, can't be in the chat. Got a university meeting. Good man, hope you're well. Also, last time I saw Kral'S picture, he's on a boat and he's enjoying it. Maybe he likes the water better. That's, so... Sim Wales, Brian, bye-bye Rice. Well, let's hope it's not, and I don't see it happening, to be honest. West Ham v Newcastle all booked. Cannot wait. Come on, you Irons. Good on you, Danny. Delighted to see that. Peachy Boys in the house. Hope you're well, mate. Are you keeping well? Please say you are. Morning to all happy hammers. The rest can do. Love that, mate. Danny is saying, I'm good, bro. Sitting in Brighton looking at the Amex Stadium, waiting to get in there on site. Yep, absolutely. Listen, if you're on site and you're doing a little bit of the old, what do you call it? Concrete work, stick a West Ham top or something, West Ham in the stadium, like what happened at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Mick Anderson's in the house. Happy morning and happy Friday to you, mate. Robert Singleton, hello, Peach. Was worried about you yesterday when you didn't stream. Hope you're well, Peach. Hope you're keeping well. Morning all from Lee Vassallo. Lee, what are we, mate? Toby Sampson, Irons. Love it, mate. I'll be singing Anfield Blowing Bubbles on the top of their stadium roof. Love the things I love to see. Jason, good morning. Hope you are well. Morning from Happy Hammer. Steve Helson is saying, up the boys. Happy Hammer saying good morning. And Grant Croxford saying good morning, Anton. And thank you for joining us. So let me get started on today's presser, which comes from David Moyes, of course, and we'll get cracking on what he said, which is the FA Cup. He said what it's all about. I've seen lots of signs of it. I've been winning teams and losing teams in different levels of the competition. You never know how the cup's going to go, but we're looking forward to the game. If we were at the London Stadium, it would be a different situation to going away from home. Obviously, the surroundings are not as big. The pitch might not be as good a condition as we expect Premier League pitches to be, but everyone has been brought up at this level, and we have to show we can get to that level and perform. Absolutely. Listen, it doesn't matter. I mean, the reason why this game is on the telly is because they think there's the potential for a banana skin, a big club like West Ham to drop down to be knocked out from Kidderminster Minnows. And you know what? It is the FA Cup. It's the beautiful thing of the FA Cup. We just hope for West Ham fans' sake that we don't, go 1-0 down or lose the game, because that would have such a negative impact on moving into the game midweek against Watford, especially coming off the, a failed, you could call it a failed window, because it is a failed transfer window. Of course it is. So, it's a massive, massive game for West Ham, and it's a good opportunity to see potential other players in and around the squad, which we know we will see, of course, as well. Now, he goes on and talks about team selection. He said, "We went strong against Leeds. Our players are well rested, but we have a Premier League game in midweek. So that has to come into consideration. We have got to go there and get through in the Cup. To beat Leeds in the last round was very good, and we want to see if we can go through to the next round by beating Kidderminster." Now, that's in relation to potentially Moyes selecting some younger players from the academy. So I don't doubt, and we're going to do our preview tonight, so make sure you tune in 9 o'clock for our Kidderminster Harriers FA Cup preview. And we'll talk a bit more depth about team selection, etc. But I don't doubt for a second we're going to see a really good mix of first-team players and some youth embedded into that. Maybe something similar to what we saw in the Europa League game, the last Europa League game we played. I would not be surprised if that's what we saw, and I think it will be good to see that as well, because we're going to have to utilise that squad as well with coming into the second half, because we're already into the second half of the season as well. So let me move on to the next part. And he talks about Antonio, and of course Antonio's been away on international duty with Jamaica. So he says Miso will arrive back from Jamaica at 11 o'clock today. I think the biggest problem is that the scheduling for all the games is really tough for the people doing it. The people who get affected are the players first and foremost. If you're a club paying their wages, it's hardly correct to get a player back at 11 o'clock on a Friday morning to play 12:30 on Saturday. And there you go. That kind of nullifies rules out the fact that maybe Antonio is going to make any form of an appearance tomorrow. And in theory, you don't need that. However, this does go back to the transfer window. I don't want to sound like a moaner, but it means that, there was room to bring a player in. And I know, because Moyes talks about it later on in the press conference, I'll bring it up, about not bringing in players to fill out that squad and to offer real competition. But if you're saying you're not playing your only striker, then what is your competition? And if you've got no competition, then you can't bring a player in. So for me, that's where the club have made the mistake. Moyes has potentially made the mistake, but I'm hoping he's got enough in that he can then, progress the team moving forward, and we can get past Kidderminster, and we can get Antonio, over the jet lag of travelling back from where he's travelled from, and get him up and running as well. I'm not going to be moaning a lot at all. He goes on and talks about being a one striker. He's asked in the press conference about, is it a risk about having one striker? And I forgot to put a couple of spelling mistakes in here as well. So he says, there was no intentions of taking any risks. I wouldn't use the word risk because we have other people who can play there. We were always trying to add to what we thought we could do. It would be hard to get better than Jared if we're talking about another striker. I didn't just want backup. I wanted real competition. I could have easily gone out and bought backup easily. I wanted people who were actually going to take other people's jerseys and challenge them. And that is, it's tough, because 2 seconds ago I'm sitting there and I'm saying to you, like, why did we not bring someone in who can strengthen in that area? But especially if Antonio isn't going to play, then do we always have to rely on Jared Bowen coming out of position and playing up top? For me, I would have loved to have had someone in, and if he's saying it would have been easily to bring someone in as a backup, surely then that backup would give us a better option in challenging the striker's position and giving them a shot in particular games that you need, rather than having no one. That's the point that I think most, or not most, some fans are potentially gonna say. But listen, I get it. I'm behind him. I'm backing him up. He wants to work with a small squad. I'm peaks and troughs with the whole thing. Moyes has said he wants to bring players in. This is what we have to come down to. I wanted us to bring players in, but we haven't done. It's time to move on and progress through the season and stop the moaning. But everyone's entitled to their own opinion, of course. Yes, there is an element of risk, but he doesn't like to use that word risk, as he says in that part there. Then he goes on and talks about Alex Kral'S. Now, this is the interesting one as well. And I think this is a no-brainer to know that he's probably going to feature tomorrow. He says it's a possibility. I'll look at the squad. The players are fresh, but I've also got to keep them fresh for the second half of the season. Alex been a bit of unfortunate not to feature, but he had a period where he missed out a little bit with COVID and a period with more games. I'd like to give him an opportunity to see what he can do. Manu Lanzini has played particularly well. Alex is still getting used to the speed and the whole situation. We've said many times it takes some players time. Hopefully he'll get some football the second half of the season. Now, I don't deny and fully expect Kral'S to be playing that game tomorrow. Doesn't matter about the opposition, it's game time, and I think he absolutely needs some game time. And I think what Moyes is saying there is, and I believe in that as well, that he will see Kral'S, and we'll start to see the squad utilised. I have said that a lot this season. I'm not denying that, but I think we're going to have no choice in the matter, to be honest, and to see the squad getting utilised, because there is a lot of games coming up between now and May. Including the Europa League and the FA Cup, of course, as well. So it's time to see a lot of those players, and it would be good for Kral'S. And let's see if he's going to have his chance to shine in a West Ham shirt. People have already ruled him out, thinking that he's potentially leaving the club come the end of the window, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see, because there's still plenty of game time left, and if we see enough there, then we will see what happens under the David Moyes things. Now, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. He goes on and he talks about transfers. He's actually particularly asked about the players, Rafinha and Phillips and a few others. He's actually, the presser and the people outside there actually physically mentioned the names of particular players. And he said, I'd never tell you my targets because that would be wrong. Even the names you're mentioning, I could not guarantee if you were correct or not. But what I do want to do is be ambitious here at West Ham. I want to bring in good players, and I want to add to what I think is a really good squad. We are building on it. Sometimes getting things you actually want, you have to wait a little bit longer. We were not able to get it this January transfer window, but I think it was quite obvious to most clubs. As I said, I think it was 9 clubs who didn't do any business in January, so it should be no surprise to a lot of people that we were one, but we did try very hard, I have to say. We certainly did get close to a few deals, but for different reasons, it didn't quite happen. There have been 9 clubs in this January transfer window who did not bring in players, and it should not be that big a surprise. We did talk about it. For some reason, it's been much more difficult January window than others. I have to say, we wanted to add to the squad if we could. We targeted players who we thought could help us, but unfortunately, we could not get them over the line. I mean, what people think it's a mouthpiece of the board, but here's the question then I would ask to many people as well. If Origi, let's bring Origi into the equation here. If Origi is potentially available for £10 million, why did no other teams go in for him? That's an interesting thing to think about. I think that there's something in Origi. I don't see the harm. I don't see that as a huge risk. But obviously, West Ham potentially do, or David Moyes potentially does, and maybe other clubs do as well, who were in the market looking for a player. You're trying to tell me that if Arsenal, going through the circumstances that they are, aren't sniffing about the likes of Origi, West Ham, and other clubs that are interested in that player in that position. So I don't know what to think of the whole thing. I'm in two minds, and it comes down to, I think there's comments in here saying I back Moyes 100%, because I do. I absolutely do, and I think I'd be silly not to be honest. He does talk a little bit more about transfers, and he actually particularly is asked about Jesse Lingard. He says here, Moyes on the Lingard in the summer. He said, I don't know, we'll see. I can tell you the board were terrific through the January window, and they have been since I have been here. They have supported us greatly and made funds available, and we tried to use the money as best we could, but we just could not get a couple of players I really liked, so I'd rather save the money than waste it. I mean, are people actually telling me that he is talking utter bull? Because he just clearly says he doesn't want to bring in people just for the sake of it, and you got to stick with that. Got to stick with that. That's just my genuine opinion there. He then goes on and talks about Kidderminster. He said, I would hope we'd give all clubs respect, and in many ways you have to give the players and teams in non-league even more respect, because with respect you might not know all the players in the stadium, so you have to do even more work to be as prepared as well as you possibly can. We did a good job against Leeds, so we have to make sure we do a good job in this round in the Cup. All our draws have been hard in the Cup, whether it be the Carabao Cup or in Europa, and now the FA Cup, and I put Kidderminster in that as well. It is a tough game for us. Ultimately, we are favourites to win the game, and I have no doubt everybody will see it that way. But as we know, the Cup does not always pan out the way everybody thinks, so we all have to prepare right and be ready. We will inform our players regarding their players and how we see the game going, and we will try to do that. Good opportunity tonight, though. Good opportunity, fantastic opportunity for West Ham to go and try and, come up against, lower league opposition and show a big confidence performance. And it doesn't matter the opposition, who they are, but just getting a victory over the line starts to build momentum for the season ahead, for the last final push that we need to do to try and qualify, if we can, push as far up that table as we can, to qualify as far as we can in the Europa League, and again also in the FA Cup. And it's going to get harder as the season goes on, but we have been well rested. We've got potentially most of the players back. I think all bar Ogbonna, everyone should be fit, and it does present us with some options. Although, yes, we are saying as fans we want more players in, but we've just not done it, and we can't keep beating on the same that bandwagon. For me, to be honest, let me jump into the chat and see what everyone else is saying. It was a short and sweet one as well. Today, Gaza, you're in the house. Hope you're well. Good to see you, mate. Glenn is saying, I think he will go strong. Players have all been resting for 2 weeks, apart from Antonio. Glenn, I agree with you normally, but we do have the Premier League game coming up in midweek as well. So I think you're going to see the likes of Antonio potentially rested. We'll talk about this tonight on the preview at 9 o'clock. I wonder if Bowen's going to get a chance or not, or will you see someone like Okaflex or Sonny Perkins start? But tune in tonight and we'll see, and we'll maybe get a little bit more insight into that as well. Rest Antonio, Bowen up front with Fredericks on the wing. It could be a good shout, mate. Could be a good shout. Mark Alexander is saying he's 100% behind Moyes' thinking. Glenn is saying, but Anton can't find any forward since Haller. Again, though, the key point here is, for me, if Haller had never played for our club, we would have been looking at Haller if we were talking about 40 or 50 million quid and going, why are we not signing that player? But we brought that player in. Moyes tried to work with him and it didn't work under our system. So is there something in that? We need to look at that. Felipe Anderson, who's gone over back to Lazio, and I haven't looked at his recent performances, but right at the start when he went back, he was performing all cylinders because these clubs played to his strengths. When you speak to a lot of Ajax fans who like Haller, they don't like the directness of what he does, because Ajax are so used to playing nice build-up play football, passing the ball. But when you're a Sebastian Haller type striker, you need to be reasonably direct. So you go into the box and you wait for the crosses, and then you pounce upon anything that deflects into your way. And a lot of Haller's goals are like that. There's nothing wrong with that. I love a striker like that. But if a team's not going to play to your strengths, then what's the point in having him in the team? And I think that's where Moyes was at. It was like, do you know what's defeating the purpose of having him here? Because we're never going to play to his strengths. And, you know, it goes back in our history. We as fans talk about bringing in a number 9, bringing a number 9, bringing a number 9, bringing a number 9. But, you know, we can sit here as a West Ham network and we can start to scout players and think, well, he suits the ability, he suits the system, he looks like he suits the system. But if we can't get the deal over the line, then they're not going to bring him in. And I think, as Stell said previously and Russ has said, the biggest concern for me right now is actually the defence. That's my only real concern. But and not getting someone like Coletta Carr over the line, but maybe there's method in his madness, and we don't know about it as well. Afternoon, everyone, from Adam Cook. Mark Alexander Enesri was the one, tried twice after the Moyes didn't fancy anyone. I do think if Darwin Núñez was available, should have put more into getting him. That, you know, if that one is true, and Moyes is not going to highlight the fact if it's true or not, but if it's true, then surely the bid wouldn't have gone in the last day. I just can't see why West Ham would want to negotiate 50 million quid when the player's in Uruguay and try and do a deal from him on the last day. Surely that would have been done well in advance of the window, and that's what makes it interesting. Do we actually know what goes on at the club? Because it sounds like we absolutely don't. Lee, Alex Kral'S will come good. COVID got to him, and Moyes we trust. Completely agree with you, Lee. I do think that that's had a big knock-on effect for his season. And I think we actually underestimate that as fans, and I think that Moyes doesn't fancy him, but maybe it's really hit him hard, and it's taken him a further and a long while to recover from it. As well. Adam is saying, let's hope we go on a good run. Europa League is still up for grabs, and that would still be another good season. Absolutely. Pete's, when you're saying that, I budget to message other people log on to watch as well. We would have to go back Moyes. Look where we are now. Normally fighting relegation, now sitting in top half. We have to back Moyes, and that's from Glenn Mushall. Yeah, I completely agree with you as well. Do you think Augie's days are finished? Age and injury, I don't hold out much hope for him now. I mean, West Ham have said that they're going to honour the contract extension offer that they've made to him. It's not been signed and sealed until obviously he picked up the injury. I am going to put my hand up and say that I've been one of his biggest judge. Like, I've judged him heavily in the past. I think Ogbonna used to be our biggest calamity of a defender, even up till maybe 2 seasons ago. I think that losing Ginge and losing Winston Reid in quick succession was actually really detrimental to the West Ham team. And we have always conceded a lot of goals every season, every single season. That's why David Moyes has consistently spoken about bringing in strength in the defence, and bringing in someone like Zuma is going to only but help that strengthen that defence. Now, there's no ifs or buts about it. I can totally admit it, that Ogbonna has definitely been in better form over the last couple of years, close to Hammer of the Year, etc., etc. And his age and his injury is definitely going to have a knock-on effect for how he comes back. But the thing is, he has been at the club now for such a long time, and he is a big, big part of that dressing room. And Augie may find himself coming back into the squad and potentially being the backup. Now, that is dependent on whether or not West Ham bring in another centre-half who's going to take over his position. Nobody knows. This is the interesting thing. But Augie, you're a typical Italian defender, and all you not got to do is look at some of the Italian squad and some of the defenders they've got in their team, and look at their age and look how they continue to keep performing. So if Augie can come back from injury and can recover well from injury and get the 1 year extension, which apparently it's a 1 year extension with another option for 12 months after it as well, then you never know. But I do think we need to strengthen in that area absolutely in the summer, whether Augie's coming back or not. Adam is saying Moyes is doing a great job, but needs to bring in 4, 5, 6 players in the summer. We can still win Europa, just need a good draw. I mean, I'm hearing people say we need to bring in upwards of 7 or 8 players, but I don't know if I agree with that, and I can't see that happening, to be honest. I can see it would depend on how many goes out the door in the summer, as to depend on how many he brings in as well. P-Man is saying personally address Bowen and Antonio. Kenny saying, hi Anton, how are you? I'm good, thank you very much, mate. Robert Singleton, I have seen some of it, but it's a day later. He said it's okay, that's all that matters. Mark Alexander, Haller was quality. Haller smashed it at Frankfurt, smashing it at Ajax. It's not the player, it was our system. Shame. True, but there was a couple of times we tried to switch up our system to suit him, and we weren't winning games. Mark. It's true. And people are saying, like, well, have West Ham been found out because we play one style? It doesn't seem to be that we found out, because we're now into the second season, or deep into the second season of playing consistently. Mark is saying, but half the players we couldn't get in because we left until the deadline day, giving them no time to replace them. But I wonder if it was that, or were the deals done a lot earlier. Moyes is shutting up shop, Mark. He's shutting up shop. He's not giving much information out there. Nobody knows a lot. I think there was a story broke this week about West Ham potentially not having the option to buy Areola. And I think that was a dud bit of information, because I think the club announced that when they signed him, that we do have an option to buy Areola, and you can just see how the leaks have stopped, and it's a good thing. It's an absolute great thing. Good day, lads. Hope you're well, Jordan. Good to see you, mate. I was disappointed with the window, but maybe it's Moyes' way of giving other players a chance till the summer, like Kral'S and Okoflex. Well, you've got to see that as well, Lee. If you look at it, how many West Ham fans' minds have Moyes changed since the second reign? I completely agree with that. Let's back him all the way and give him the support he needs. Moyes says the fans are the 13th man. Absolutely, mate. James, good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Oh, Stelios Hammer's in the house. If you haven't already, go and subscribe to his little cheeky channel. Sorry, Stel. Oh, it's so funny. Sorry. It's just regurgitated information from West Ham Network anyway. Adam Cook, it'll be good to see the youngsters start on Saturday. We need to start bringing them through a bit more and see if they can make it. Glenn Marshall, Italian centre-backs always get better as they age. Absolutely. Steve, Augie was immense the last couple of seasons. Hope we can get another season or two out of him. Completely agree. That's what it comes down to. And you obviously agree with that. You know, it's been the last couple of years that he's really come out of his shell in a West Ham shirt. And that's good, and that's what we want. Dan, massive vote of confidence by Moyes towards the players. Huge second half of the season to play, but I feel we've missed a trick to sign a centre half and forward. Only time will tell. Absolutely. Is Moyes GSB in? Amazing how some of our fans criticise him for saying something positive about GSB. The Hazard, morning, Anton. Good to see you, mate. Jordan, I really missed the Ghana, especially this season. Really? I'm not being horrible to the guy. I think he was a great player, but I remember doing a video at the time. And I said that, you know, I wouldn't be, you know, it wasn't such a bad thing. 25 million quid. How many times do we dig out West Ham and the management for selling a player who is we undervalue the player and we sell them and don't make any money on him, but then you get someone like Ghana who wasn't going to play, who hasn't particularly set the world alight since he's left. for £25 million. I mean, I think for me it was a no-brainer. Jordan, he is, mate, he is. And there he is again, the West Ham voice with Stelios Hammer. Honestly, go and subscribe to his channel. It's great content. You've not seen it before. Leave us out. Lingard versus Rat. Yeah, I know. I seen that today. He's going to have a clear head. He's going to come back fighting for the second half of the season. But for me, no matter he's going to be late 29s or 30s, we need to go and get Lingard. Let's bring Lingard back to this club and give him a home. And that's what he needs. And get 2 or 3 years, the best of him as well. Sam K, the left side of our defence is where we need to strengthen. Ogbonna was cut out for pace at times this season. He was. But then to be fair to Ogbonna, I think the biggest issue we've got really down that left-hand side was the inconsistency in team selection. So if it was Creswell was injured, you would have Johnson. If it wasn't Johnson, you would have Masuaku. If it wasn't Masuaku, it was chopping and changing. And yes, there are games, and I do think, you know, the older he gets, he's lacking pace. And I think like Ogbonna and Diop don't work. I think Ogbonna and Dawson can work, but they're both quite slow, so they don't have the pace. Zuma's really the kind of key element to our defence right now, and that's the one that really solidifies and offers us that calmness in the back just now. And I think we're going to have to look at that and address that in the summer, 100%. James is saying, Anton, do you really think that David Moyes is the man to take this club forward? He just seems very indecisive in the touchline in the transfer market. I appreciate what he has done for the club. And in all honesty, James, yes, I don't know how we can sit here. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I don't know how we can sit here and say anything really negative. I think we can be critical, but I don't know how people can. I'm not saying you, but I've seen people say like Moyes needs to go at the end of the window. How can? Are you joking me? Like, look what he's done. Look what he has done at our club, and we are just getting frustrated because we think we can go that further up there. But transitioning, in my opinion, when you transition, you don't go all hell for leather because you can start to make big mistakes. He's trying to give us that solid foundation of progression. So if we do progress, but let's just say we don't get to the next level, i.e. top 4 this season, but we still stay 6th, then it's up. You fall back onto that foundation and you're not going to go any further down. And he's building from a good place. And I'm sorry, James, I do totally think this is the guy right now that will get us further forward. You can't remotely be talking about Moyes leaving this club. Not you. Anyone's entitled to their own opinion, of course. But right now, no, I don't fathom it. I don't agree with it. I really don't. But everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I completely don't. He is the guy for me that I did not want at all right at the start when he was coming back in. I was absolutely against it. And I was like, oh, here we go again. Like, we're going to be challenging relegation week in and week out, year in and year out. But something's clicked and he's got the system working and we just need to back him and stop. For me, it's about stop going against them. Stop going against them. Longello, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. No, he's not back to Hadri. He's not. Good point about Diangana. Looked good in the Championship as West Brom were attacking in the Prem. They had to defend, making him a weak link. Lee saying Moyes wasn't given time at our club. Maybe if he had the faith and kept him, things may have gone a different way. Absolutely. James Moyes, as picky as it's worked so far, remember the days of Tor, Valencia and Nordveit. And I have to bring them up. I do. I completely agree with you. How on earth is it? What do we want? Like signing players just for the sake of it? No, that's what happened under the Pellegrini era. That's in theory what happened under the Bilic era. Let's rewind slightly into the last decade. When was the last time you saw West Ham perform, or even further than the last decade, consistently over 2 seasons under particularly one manager? Because that's what Moyes is given to us right now. I don't know how else we can expect anything else right now. Of course, we want further signings, but for people to absolutely implode because we didn't bring players in, I want players in. Please understand that. But it's about realizing where we are and what we're doing as a club. Transition is huge. And setting the foundations for the club. He says it week in and week out. It's there for us all to see in writing as well. Transition, real talk, Anton. Cheers, Peachy Boy. How on earth? Oh, I don't know. I'd love to see Manure miss out in Champions League and us win the Europa League in our shadow of their former self. And we're on the up and Manure staying alive. We just need to stay in front of the pack. Absolutely. Mark Alexander, Revo, tell her to stick making Sam. Oh, God, no. Sam Cahill, just look at Leicester, 2 seasons in a row finishing 5th and have gone backwards this season. Wolves are well finished in the top 7 for 2 seasons, struggled last season. Moyes is trying to avoid that. Absolutely, he is. And the thing is, even though Leicester are struggling this season, and you could say Wolves are struggling this season, but they're not far off the top 4 with the amount of games in hand they've got as well. I think that we have to set the solid foundations. People want us to go hell for leather, and I get it. But how many times have we done that, and how many times do we yo-yo as a football club? Honestly, I can't remember the last time in my whole... I'm trying to think off the top of my head that we have been consistent over 2 seasons. I can't remember it. I don't know if there was a time that we have been. We won the FA Cup back in 1980. We were in the 2nd division at the time. And what did we look like the next season when we won all the other cups, European Cup Winners' Cup? How did we bounce back the next season? And when you look back at the history books, we didn't have consistency on top of consistency, but we're getting that just now, and long may that continue. Happy Hammerette, morning people, good to see you. Hope you're well. The manager wants the best lady he can chat about the bar, not the last resort. That's a good way of putting it. Audi, afternoon, Anton. Good to see you, mate. Afternoon all. By all accounts, Moyes had a striker he really wanted who isn't available to the summer. Another player he wanted would have cost too much in January, so let's wait until the summer, and it looks like that's all going to be happening. Stephen Baptiste, for them who want Moyes out, who do you want in place then, and tell me, would the team still have the fun they're having now as a team? Stephen, I back that up 100%. I back that up 100%. The team looks so unified. I have never saw a team look so unified in all my days. What you were used to seeing, right? What you were used to seeing was little cliques, and you would see a group of like 5 players over there and training, group of 5 players over there. But now you see everyone getting together, arms around each other, having a laugh, going out with each other on Instagram. They're going out for cycles. Fornals is going out for a cycle with Antonio. Masuaku's going on a night out with Zuma and Ben Rama. And it's just everyone is together, and it's things you love to see. Dan is questioning people saying Moyes out, put down the crack pipe. I wouldn't mind struggle like Leicester winning the Premier League and the FA Cup. All disheartened. And the thing is, though, they're there or thereabouts. They're there or thereabouts, and they've invested well with the money that they made. I was disheartened about the window as the next person, but there's definitely no replacement for Moyes. We've come too far with a small team and a shoestring budget. Moyes in, 100%. And if it's Moyes out, coaches follow, players follow. Man is considering where we are when we have built, 100%. Audi is saying, I hope to see Oakflex, Langelo, and some under 23 start against Kidderminster. If they don't, I'll be extremely disappointed. So, yeah, the big thing is about this game, Kral'S going to get a chance to shine, hopefully. Antonio probably won't make the game. And will we see some of the under-23s? Make sure you join DJ Russie B, who's going live in 14 minutes time, and he's going to do a big FA Cup special for you. Let me see if I can get that link whilst I am going to go through some of the last comments as well. I'll put the link in the chat if I have got it. Let's see here. Do I have it? I don't know if I've got it, but if I don't, I'll just hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification. But 12:30, DJ's Russie B is going to be doing an FA Cup special tonight, 9 o'clock. Join us again for the preview of Kidderminster Harriers FA Cup preview. Myself, Matt, and maybe some extra special guests as well. So come on and check us there. And if you are new around here and you are interested in becoming a channel member, you can go and click the join option on the YouTube channel as well and have a look at all our membership programs. Anyway, like I said, subscribe, like, comment, keep yourself safe, and we'll see you at 12:30 with DJ Russie B. Come on, you Irons.
It's like a family tree, part of you and part of me. And if we should separate,